Hi guys, so I'm going to read Superman number 148. So this will be in my Superman playlist and also the 1960s DC Comics playlist. So Superman, featuring the super mischief of Mr. Mxyzptlk.
Is it a man? Is it a bird? No, it's a jailbird.
Great Krypton! That imp from the fifth dimension has used his magical powers to turn every one of these prisoners into a Superman. Superman. You would hardly expect to find the counterpart of Achilles, the weapon-proof warrior last seen 3,000 years ago, in combat on the battlefields of Troy, in a modern city like Metropolis. Yet, that is exactly what happens when the Man of Steel finds himself challenged by a menace, emerging from the mists of antiquity, the indestructible outlaw known as the 20th Century Achilles. Guards can't stop him because he's bulletproof, and that piece of kryptonite around his neck keeps me away. Can he really be another Achilles? In a secret hideout, in an abandoned shack, in a lonely section by the Metropolis waterfront, bank robbers are splitting up their loot. 50 grand for Joe, 30 grand for Mike, and 100,000 for me. Suddenly, in walks a fantastic figure, wearing the breastplate and helmet of a warrior from the Trojan Wars. On second thought, better make it 200,000.
It's a guy in ancient armor.
What kind of a gang is this? No one muscles in that take. Let him have it, Joe.
But the bullets bounce off the mysterious intruder like peas off a drum.
He's still alive. He must be wearing bulletproof armor.
Then, as chivalrously as in a knight of old, the amazing stranger boldly removes his helmet. Allow me to make things easier for you.
Come on, all you guys. Aim at his head with everything you got.
The next moment, a deadly barrage of murderous weapons is directed at the intruder, but fails to harm him in the least. Danger, death and danger I laugh at, for weapons I have scorn, for I was dipped in magic water soon after I was born.
Holy cow, nothing can hurt him. He really is bulletproof.
And knife proof.
And axe-proof.
Who are you?
You can call me Achilles, for like the Achilles of the ancient Greek legend, I am virtually invulnerable. You see, my father was an archaeologist. I was born in Greece, where he was exploring an ancient ruin. One day, when I was only a few months old. Look, Mary, this inscription says that the magic water in this fountain flows from that fabled underground stream, the river Styx, in which Thetis dipped his son, Achilles, and made him invulnerable to all harm. Just for fun, my mother dipped me in the fountain. Oh, but that's just an old legend, dear. It won't work on our son, Cyrus.
Still, no harm in trying it. Wah, wah, wah.
My parents returned to America and forgot the incident until one day, 7 years later, when I was rock hunting in the woods with my father. Zing! Tsh. Look, son, here's a very interesting... Huh? That deer hunter's arrow. It's splintered, and you're unhurt.
Then I guess it's really true, Dad, what you told me about Mom dipping me in that water. I mean, it really was a magic spring, and I really am another Achilles. The following summer, walking through long grass on my way to the local swimming hole. A rattlesnake. It bit me, but the deadly fangs only tickled.
From that day on, everyone called me Achilles. But some years later, at a weenie roast on the beach.
Ow! My foot! Look at Achilles. He burned his heel on a red-hot coal.
This Achilles has an Achilles heel, too.
My heel had felt pain because my mother, thinking the whole legend a myth, had not taken the trouble to dip the heel by which she held me. Soon after, both my parents died, so I had no way of returning to the magic spring and bathing my heel in it. To protect my one vulnerable spot, I went to a blacksmith. I want the box to protect my heel, naturally.
Don't worry, Achilles. I guarantee nothing will be able to penetrate this lead box.
So you cut?
Proof, Achilles?
Yes, and I know from the underworld grapevine that you gentlemen have a supply of green kryptonite, the only substance that can hurt Superman.
Gee, boss, if Achilles joins us, we'd be an unbeatable team.
Exactly. Now, I propose for our first job, a raid on the very interesting Maharaja exhibit.
The next day, at the Maharaja, I'm not pronouncing that right, Maharaja exhibit, where priceless treasures from India are on display, the crowd gasps at the appearance of the modern Achilles.
Look at that guy dressed as like an ancient Greek.
He's taking the rubies from the idol's eyes. I read those jewels are worth $250,000 apiece.
Hey, you stop that, or I'll shoot! Save your ammunition. You're only wasting the taxpayers' money.
As Superman flies on patrol, his super hearing detects gunshots from the direction of that new Indian exhibition.
There's the thief, Superman, but we can't stop him. Bullets just bounce off him.
He's just like the Achilles of old, but Superman will get him.
And as the Man of Steel flies down,
I'm warning you, Superman. Approach at your own risk.
Kryptonite. He's wearing it around his neck like a medallion. Even the otherwise invincible Man of Steel must retreat from the deadly rays of the Superman-slaying substance.
Neither you, Superman, nor the police can touch me, for I am a modern Achilles.
Later, in the criminal's hideout, it was a day in which both Superman and the police were bested by an unbeatable bandit who arrogantly describes himself as a 20th century Achilles. All Metropolis is wondering when he will strike next.
Next, I think, I'll drop in at the Fathering Art Collection at the museum.
The next day, out of the Fathering Collection steps a figure that might well have come to life from the museum itself.
Shoot at me all you like, boys, but don't try coming close. I can wield this sword as good as the original Achilles.
In the city room of the Daily Planet, calling our cars! Achilles has struck again! He's walking off with the unicorn tapestry! It's worth a fortune! Nobody seems to be able to touch him, even Superman. So I'll send one of my robots into action. Seconds later, activated by Superman's X-ray vision, a Superman robot streaks from its secret hiding place in Clark Kent's apartment. Traveling at such super speed, its flight is invisible to the human eye. Robot S3 answering your summons, Master. But when the robot nears Achilles,
You can't fool me.
You're a robot! You're nothing but a piece of steel junk that can't touch me any more than cops' bullets or Superman himself.
Split seconds later, true to Achilles' boast, the Superman robot scurries away like a frightened rabbit.
Strange, I can't go near him. Some invisible force is making me retreat. My master will be disappointed.
Later, at the Planet office, as Clark and Lois examine a close-up picture of Achilles' foot taken by Jimmy Olsen.
Well, Clark, I guess he'll get away with his crimes until someone can get that box off of his foot and expose his Achilles' heel.
I'm not so sure about that, Lois. I have a hunch there's something phony about Mr. Achilles. A few days later, Superman stands guard over Metropolis, like an aerial sentry. Most criminals repeat themselves. Their crimes follow a predictable pattern. If I'm right, Achilles will be drawn to the newly opened Hall of Kings and Queens at the Colosseum Gardens, where I've got a trap waiting for him. And sure enough, Achilles does visit the hall.
It's Achilles again! Nobody can stop him. Not even Superman. With the proceeds from these pearls, I'll be set for life.
I thought so. He's trying to steal the most valuable object in the place. I can't approach him, but the gas I planted inside the glass box should knock him out long enough for the police, who are disguised as wax kings, to capture him. Suddenly, the kings of England leap to life.
The plan worked just the way Superman said it would. Headquarters will be happy to learn our trick when across. Now to put the kryptonite where it can never hurt Superman again. Put this in a lead box, then take it out to sea, Tom, and dump it. Okay, Your Highness, Captain.
But so careful was Superman to use a gas that would not hurt Achilles, that moments later, the criminal revives and takes his captors by surprise.
One false move from any of you royal gentlemen, and King John here will never get to sign the Magna Carta.
But no longer fearful of the kryptonite, the Man of Steel streaks in and wafts the deadly sword point with his super breath. Desperate, Achilles makes one last dash for freedom.
I used to be a champion swimmer.
Throwing off his helmet and breastplate, Achilles arcs down toward the water in a superb dive.
It should be a cinch to swim over to my getaway car on the opposite bank.
But when Achilles strives to rise to the water's surface,
I'm sinking like a stone. What's happened?
But before Achilles can hit bottom, a certain super diver plunges after him. That heavy lead box on his foot, its weight is dragging him down. Presently, whatever you're covering with that lead box, Achilles, it turned out to be your real Achilles heel. Now let's pick up your friends. And then, swift seconds later, at the police headquarters, the box contained a powerful anti-magnetic device, which repelled all metal objects, like bullets, knives, and swords, even my metal robot. Naturally, because the box was made of lead, my X-ray vision couldn't reveal his secret.
And all this time we thought he was bulletproof.
He stole that anti-magnet from an inventor and made up that yarn about being dipped in magic water to trick you into letting him have your kryptonite.
We put the stuff in a lead box, Superman, and dropped it in the ocean.
Later, at the Planet office.
Gee, Clark, you were right about Achilles being a phony. What made you suspicious?
Oh, I don't know, really. Just never believed much in mythology, I guess. I can't tell her that I could see his sword and armor were made of plastic, so as not to be repelled by the anti-magnet in the box. And that's the end of that one, so now Superman. Poor Superman. As though he hasn't enough problems. Saving Earth from awful perils. Preventing himself from being trapped into marriage by Lois Lane. Rescuing other planets from great menaces, etc. An even worse burden is abruptly thrust upon the already super busy, super powerful Man of Steel. Desperately, he has to find out the Mad Imp's name when he visits our dimension and creates Mr. Mxyzptlk's Super Mischief. Hans Blitz, Emil Kornblaster, Elmer Smog, Joe Jones, Tim Snodgrass, Murgatroyd Mertz.
You're wasting your time, Superman. You can reel off a million names, and you'll never guess my new legal name. Unless you find it out, and trick me into saying it backwards. You won't be able to send me back to the 5th dimension.
One day, in the 5th dimensional world, as Mr. Mxyzptlk peers at his multi-dimensional viewer screen.
Phooey! I can see Superman and Crypto flying on patrol. On Earth. Them, I don't like. Every time I travel to 3-dimensional Earth for a little fun, Superman banishes me back here for at least 90 days by tricking me into saying my name backwards. The latest 90-day exile period will be up tomorrow. Urgh. Oh, the accursed unfairness of it all. If only Superman didn't know my name, so he wouldn't be able to make me say it backwards. Yikes! That's it! What an inspiration. I'm a genius imp.
Next day, in a 5th dimensional world courtroom.
But why should anyone want to legally change a lovely name, like Mxyzptlk?
It's, like this, Your Royal Judgeship, sir. I'm going to tour the 3-dimensional world of Earth on behalf of our scientists. The stupid idiots there have trouble pronouncing my name, and so I'd like my name legally changed.
I understand. Your new name will be John Trix. However, according to our world's laws, a person's name can only be legally changed for 75 days. At the end of that time, you must use your original name of Mxyzptlk again.
Thank you. I fooled him.
Through the barrier into our 3-dimensional world hurtles the silly sprite.
Now for a little fun. Since Superman doesn't know I got a new name, he won't be able to get rid of me this time.
Shortly, at the Metropolis Art Museum.
Oh no! It's that crazy 5th-dimensional imp! He'll ruin our art masterpieces!
Ruin them? Dear me, no. I'll just make those boringly dull paintings more interesting.
Magically, the pixie transforms the great works of art.
Zomp!
Oh, the painting's been changed so that George Washington and his men are crossing the Delaware on ice skates. The Laughing Cavalier now has Mxyzptlk's impish face. You lunatic imp! When Superman learns you're in our world, he'll quickly get rid of you.
Think so? I can hardly wait to see that Stooge of Steel try.
Shortly,
Ah! There's the muscle-bound oaf now, flying on patrol. Now to ruin his day. I magically command every manhole-covered metropolis to rise!
A moment later, as a horde of metal discs soar upward in response to the imp's fifth-dimensional magic. Great Scott! Is it? No. It isn't flying saucers. It's flying manhole covers. What? Trailing the flying objects, Superman soon sights. Gah! Mr. Mxyzptlk. You're back again to bedevil me. What have I done to deserve this?
Manhole covers! Drop!
As the metal discs rain downward, Superman flashes desperately after them. If they fall in the city, they may hurt innocent people. Rapidly collecting the covers, the Man of Steel piles them one on top the other, just like a stack of pancakes.
Aren't you the busy one, though?
Swiftly, Superman returns the manhole covers, where they belong. Please save us from Mxyzptlk, Superman, before he wrecks our town with his pranks. I can only get rid of him if I trick him to say his name backwards. I've got an idea. Later, on a metropolis street. Help me, someone. I dropped my cane. I can't find it.
Poor blind chap. Let me assist you. There you are, my good man.
Thank you, stranger. Would you please do me one more favor? I've heard that news headlines and electric lights move along a sign on the outside of this building. Could you read me what they say? And so?
Sure thing. They say stock market soars, foes invade, Zigglemanum.
Ha! My disguise fooled you. I arranged for that fake headline, to trick you into saying your name backwards. Stunned, Superman gapes incredulously.
You were saying?
Great guns! Though I tricked you into saying your name backwards, you haven't vanished back into the fifth dimension. It isn't possible.
Surprise, Soapy? And now I shall leave you the super squirm, old sport. Ta-ta, and all that bilge.
It always worked before. Why didn't it work now? Off merrily soars the imp to the mayor's mansion, where... Monster! You've magically turned the water in my bathtub into glue!
Ha 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 ha! Now the city really stuck with you.
Then, as the silly sprite flies to Metropolis's United World building... Please help me. Me speak good English. Me try to find my country's leader. Please call out my name, so he knows I am here. My name is on card.
Okay, Superman, but please take off that corny disguise first. There's no need to be so sneaky about this.
You recognize me? He's going to do it. Voluntarily. Strangely, saying his name backwards didn't return him to his own world last time. But it's bound to work now.
Mxyzptlk Zix Manda.
However, again you didn't disappear when you said your name backwards. How come?
Ha! Because I legally changed my name. That's why. I'm no longer named Mxyzptlk. Until you learn what my new name is, you won't be able to trick me into saying it backwards. I'll never tell you my new name. I'm here to stay, Soapy. I'll pull all the magical pranks I please, and you won't be able to get rid of me.
Changing to his Clark Kent identity, Superman returns to the planet. Mr. Mxyzptlk has a new secret name, and Superman can't get rid of him. Now to get back on the job as Superman. Meanwhile, above Metropolis Prison, the Imp is up to more madcap mischief.
Prisoners, become super! Zoop!
Next instant,
Ha ha! Now that you magically changed all us convicts into Superman, escaping is a cinch!
Have fun!
presently, as Superman traces the Imp to a mountain peak outside the city, when you gave those criminals superpowers, you went too far, pest. I'll give you a super hot foot with my heat vision.
You're forgetting something, buddy boy.
Great Scott! Instead of heating your feet, my vision has frozen them. That's impossible.
Nothing is impossible for my fifth-dimensional magical powers. Watch me make the ice vanish.
Next moment,
There, fool! You're helpless against a fabulous magician like me. My ancestors were Loki and Merlin. Liar! I, the original Mxyzptlk, am their descendant. Not you, you imposter. I have come from the fifth dimension to expose you, faker. You clumsy imitator. You copycat. I'm not an imitator. You are. You're probably just a robot. Yeah, that's what you are. Only a robot. So I'm a robot, eh? Okay, I'll prove I'm the real Mxyzptlk. Watch what happens when I say my name backwards. Quit Pizzamin.
huh, he's disappearing into the fifth dimension. That proves he's the real Mxyzptlk. An instant later,
That phony! I'll follow him back to the fifth dimension and fix him. I'll say my new name backwards and vanish. Zert Noaj.
after the real Imp dematerializes, the second Mxyzptlk reappears once more. I should have said this at the beginning, but his name is kind of, I think in different versions it's pronounced differently, so I'm just calling it Mxyzptlk for this video. I may have pronounced it another way earlier, so I'm sorry about that. But he reappears once more. Then suddenly, his outer shell disguise bursts apart. Nice work, Superman Emergency Squad. My scheme worked. We tricked the Imp into returning to his own world for 90 days. He didn't know that. After learning Mr. Mxyzptlk had a secret new name, I flew to my Fortress of Solitude and summoned all of you from the bottle city of Kandor. Hide inside this lifelike dummy of Mxyzptlk. I've prepared. You, Van Z, will imitate the Imp's voice and speak these lines. The superpowers you and your Kandorian companions who resemble me gained on Earth enable you to fly to this spot inside that friction-proof dummy at super speed. Mxyzptlk wrongly assumed you came from the fifth dimension. You vanished before our eyes, and have now materialized again, by traveling into, then out of, the time barrier. Meanwhile, in the fifth-dimensional world, the Imp glowers at the multi-dimensional viewer screen.
Grrr! Outwitted again! And use of my new legal name will expire long before the 90 days are up. Oh, how I hate Superman!
Back on Earth, when the Imp leaves our world, the effects of his magic disappear too. So undoubtedly, those escaped crooks have lost their superpowers by now, and I'll easily be able to catch them. I wonder what that pixie will spring next time we meet. And Superman. Every year, Superman earns millions of dollars. Yet, unlike every citizen who contributes his share toward government expenses, the Man of Steel never pays 1 cent in income taxes. Is the world's greatest hero, therefore, nothing but an income tax evader? Or is he a special case? Learn the amazing answer in Superman Owes $1 billion.
You grabbed that falling hotel sign in the nick of time, Superman. For saving my life, I will donate my crown jewels to any charity you name.
He'll name nothing, Your Highness. Superman can't give anything away. He owes every cent he gets to the U.S. government. He's a tax evader. One day, at the Internal Revenue Bureau in Metropolis, as a new agent checks up on tax records, this is amazing. We have no record that Superman has ever paid taxes. But each year, Superman captures countless wanted criminals, collecting a fortune in reward money. Then, whenever he digs up buried treasure or squeezes coal into diamonds, he earns more untold millions. All that wealth is income. Even though he gives these billions to charity and never keeps a cent for himself, the law says no one can claim more than 15% of their income for charity exemptions. So Superman is guilty of income tax evasion and must pay up. How can the government build schools and highways if no one pays taxes? Meanwhile, in space, as Superman streaks after a hurtling comet, to prevent it from colliding with Earth, I'll deflect its head toward the sun, where it'll burn up. I could pulverize it, but that would only scatter dangerous meteors throughout space. As for the comet's gaseous tail, it will pass close to Earth without harming anyone. I just spotted a strange-looking egg on the head of that comet. As Superman lands on the nucleus of the celestial body, some winged space creature must have left it here to hatch. Every zoologist on Earth will be eager to examine this egg. I'll put it in the pouch of my cape for safekeeping. Come on, folks. Show our firemen that you appreciate the risks they take for you. Contribute to the Firemen's Welfare Fund.
Superman is terrific. Look at the crowd he's attracting.
Later in Metropolis, as Superman helps raise money for the Firemen's Welfare Fund. But shortly, as Superman collects donations in a fireman's tent,
Help! Help! Great guns! A man jumped off that building!
Here, take this. I'll save him. Moments after, as the Man of Steel flies to the rescue, Easy, chum. I've got you. Did you lose your balance?
Of course not. I deliberately leaped from that roof. I knew you'd be here and would save me if I fell. I'm Rupert Brand, U.S. Revenue Agent. I didn't want to waste a second looking you up. Superman, you're a tax evader. You owe the government a fortune in taxes.
Taxes? But I've never been asked to pay taxes before.
Then, it's time someone got after you. Even the President of the United States pays taxes. So why should you be the only exception? Fly me to my office, and we'll add up what you owe.
Presently, as Brand computes Superman's tax, $1 billion! Gosh, Brand, I never keep any of the wealth I earn. I give everything away to worthy causes.
Well, even if you gave away all the money you earn, you're not excused. Many millionaires give money to charity too, yet they pay taxes.
Noon tomorrow,
is the tax deadline. If you don't deliver $1 billion, which includes your back taxes, I'll order the FBI to arrest you.
That isn't much time, Brand. But okay, I'll see what I can do. Soon, in the Congo jungle, I must accumulate all the valuables I can to make that deadline. I'll fly this abandoned Foreign Legion outpost to an elephant's graveyard I once spotted during my travels. Next, now to use super speed in filling the fort with thousands of these valuable white ivory tusks. Shortly, this ivory should be worth millions. I'll set it down on this deserted island, not far from Metropolis, then go out hunting for other precious things. But as Superman lands...
Hello, Superman. It's me, Bizarro. Me see your problem from Bizarro World. So me come to help you. Me use duplicate array. Make duplicates of all the ivory you need.
No, Bizarro! Your ray only makes imperfect imitations! But after Bizarro turns on the ray... Look what you've done, Bizarro! You've turned my pile of solid ivory into a mound of ivory soap!
Bah! You not know what is good. Ivory soap better than ivory tusks. It floats!
Then, as Bizarro leaves in a huff, it floats all right, but thanks to Bizarro's help, I'm back where I started from, accumulating $1 billion worth of valuables. Next moment, as Superman hears a crackling sound, this egg is starting to hatch. Well, the thing will be better off on this island than in the pocket of my cape. I'll leave it here while I look for new treasures. Later, in a coal yard in Metropolis...
Sure, Superman. Help yourself to all the coal you want.
Thanks. Now to use my old standby stunt of super squeezing lumps of coal into diamonds, since diamonds are merely a form of carbon of coal, produced under great pressure. But to Superman's shock, the diamonds are turning into coal dust. I detect a strange gas in the atmosphere. Probably the gas released from that comet's tail. It has temporarily affected carbon under pressure. I can't make diamonds for the time being. Then, acting on a sudden brainstorm, Superman seeks out Aquaman, King of the Sea. I'm in trouble, Aquaman. A tax agent has put the squeeze on me for $1 billion in back taxes. So could you get me the world's biggest oyster?
Why not? Just wait here.
Then, while Aquaman searches the ocean floor, Superman races to Professor Potter's lab. Help me, Professor. You once gave Jimmy Olsen a growth serum that made him grow up into a giant. Well, I need a different kind of compound.
Name it. Whatever you want.
Presently, at sea...
Here, Superman. The biggest oyster in captivity.
Good. An oyster ordinarily creates a pearl by secreting a nacreous fluid around a grain of sand that it's irritating it. But I'll irritate this one with coral that's been treated with a special growth serum invented by Professor Potter. Later, as Superman flies to the island, let's hope the fluids inside now make a giant pearl. Speaking of giants, that little thing hatched into an enormous creature. It should fetch a huge price from some private animal collector. And as time ticks away remorselessly, Superman continues to gather other treasures.
Wait, Superman. My people saw that Spanish treasure ship first, and we need its gold for a special purpose. Please bring it to us.
It's Lori, the Atlantis mermaid, summoning me by telepathy. Then, as Superman delivers the precious metal, I could have used that gold, but I can't jump Lori's claim.
Little does Superman know why we're feeding the gold into this electric furnace. He has a surprise awaiting him.
Soon, as two molds emerge from the furnace,
Look, Superman! We've made gold statues of your parents, Jor-El and Lara, for helping us so often.
so that's why they wanted the gold. How kind of the Atlanteans. Presently, as Superman plunges anew into his treasure hunting, my X-ray vision reveals that these sealed chests contain valuable paintings by old Dutch masters. My only question is, can I collect enough costly items like these in time to make Brand's deadline? And so, through the night and into the following morning, Superman may be a celebrity, but it's my job is my job. If Superman doesn't show up with his tax payment, he must be punished. Brand may be doing his duty, but he sure made things tough on me. But I still have a fighting chance. That huge pearl, the space monster, all these rich prizes I've salvaged should be worth almost $1 billion. Some rare articles from my Fortress of Solitude should help me go over the top. But when Superman returns from his fortress, it still might be enough. I'll make absolutely sure by digging up radium in another world. However, when Superman returns from space with a fabulous chunk of radium, now I'll head for Metropolis to put a brief appearance as Clark Kent, my secret identity. I'm glad I sent in Kent's income tax. I'd hate to have Brand on Clark's tail, too. However, later at the planet, I can't keep that radium. The teletype is reporting a deadly epidemic, which is curable only by radium therapy, and all the hospitals are short on radium. As Clark switches to Superman, fetches the radium, and speeds to the stricken area, I'm breaking up this radium and distributing pieces of it to all the hospitals.
Thanks, Superman. A small quantity is all we need to save lives.
But when Superman streaks back to his island, holy jumping Jupiter! That creature! He's devouring everything in sight, including the island. He's a matter-eater with an insatiable appetite. He'll eat anything, and has. As Superman angrily hurls the monster into space, blast my luck! Not only have I lost a king's ransom and treasures, but I've lost my race against time. Now I can't meet Brand's deadline. However, amazingly, a few minutes before noon, at Brand's office, well, Brand, looks like I made it, after all. Here's a check for $1 billion. You have the money? Are you mad, Superman? This check is worthless. It was issued by the Bank of Krypton on your home world, which blew up long ago. We can't possibly cash it. Suddenly, as Brand's boss enters,
We're not going to, Brand. Superman told me about his problem, and I told him to make out that check as a gag. He doesn't owe us a cent because of Code 1426B.
the tax dependency clause. But Superman has no family or dependents.
Oh, hasn't he? Our records show that Superman has for years supported billions of needy people with clothing, housing, food, and protective service. Indeed, The whole world is dependent on him. According to law, every taxpayer is allowed to deduct $600 for each dependent. Well, Superman has over 2 billion dependents. So if we deducted all his dependency allowances from his incomes, he'd have no taxable income left.
Gosh, I never thought of that. Forgive me, Superman. I should have known you couldn't be a tax evader.
You bet. If anything, the U.S. is indebted to Superman. Only there isn't enough money in the world to pay him for what he does.
And that's the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Sorry it took me a while. I couldn't upload last night because my garage was I had to I recorded the part yesterday night, or not yesterday night, the night before yesterday. I recorded the first half of this, and then my garage was locked. I couldn't get in my garage, so then yesterday night. So now, but I'm back in my garage, so now I can upload tonight. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want me to do any requests, just let me know down in the comments, and I'll tell you when I can do the request, the date I can do it by. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.